What it is, guys, is your boy Alan Solar with an episode of Alanizing, and today we have NBA Finals 2025. Now, I don't know if y'all hear some differences, but there is. And we got special things planned for the next episode, so y'all be watching out for that, okay? I'll be watching out for that. I know you're probably like, bruh, this bro always says he's posting on Instagram and then he never put. Guys, you gotta give me time, brothers. You gotta give me time. So give me some time, and I'm telling y'all it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be cool. But anyways, let's get on with the finals, okay? Gonna get my opinions on that. Obviously, there were some trades. There's 3 trades that happened in the last 2 days. So we're getting into the trades. Gonna get just all of the finals. So let's get into it. Start off with the finals first, as the Oklahoma City Thunder beat the Indiana Pacers 4-3 in a 7-game series to become NBA champions for their first OKC title. All right, so just a little game reviews from game 1 and game 7. Game 1, the Pacers stole the first game, and OKC were caught messing around, in my opinion. All right, they caused 18 turnovers at half. They should have blown out the Pacers, but they just couldn't capitalize on it. No idea why. They just couldn't score. It was a good game though. Pacers hit open corner threes, and they limited OKC's free throw attempts, with Hallie getting the game winner with a few seconds left in the game. Game 2, OKC blew them out. 34 points by Shea. Holmgren and Williams had 15 and 19 points respectively, and the backbreakers were Caruso and Wiggins getting 20 and 18 points respectively. Game 3, OKC looked rattled, and the Pacers clutched up as Hallie went for 22 points, 11 assists, and their bench was stupendous as Benedict Mathurin went for 27 points. TJ was a spark out there. TJ McConnell was a spark out there for the bench. And Obi Toppin had some electric plays. Pacers trapped Shea at times, and that I feel like that rattled them. Game 4, OKC got gritty. I thought Pacers were gonna pull it through. I feel bad for Nembhard because he's this whole series he was defending his ass off. Like, he was defending Shea really well, and Shea was just still getting his points, still getting to his spots. So it was, I feel bad for Nembhard, but Shea was that dude. And I realized we got game 6, game 7. So it's going to be lit. And in game 5, OKC's defense clutched up in the fourth quarter as Jalen Williams dropped 40 points, while CGA had 31 points, 10 assists, 4 blocks. And in this game, Tyrese had a calf tightness, and he still played through it, but he was pretty horrid. Game 6, Tyrese and the Pacers were fine. They looked fine. He looked fine. They caused 21 turnovers, took control of the game, and they blew out the Thunder. TJ McConnell was instrumental coming off the bench as he finished with 12 points, 9 rebounds, and 6 assists. Game 7, game of turnovers, series of turnovers. Hallie went down. It looked like he hyperextended his calf, but the Pacers were in it for a long time. Props to them. They were fighting. They were fighting the whole time. TJ put in a good effort to replace Hallie, but Shea with 29 points, poor shooting, 8 out of 27, but he had 12 assists and 2 blocks, while Chet had 18 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 blocks, and OKC became NBA champs for the first time in the OKC era, as we're going to get later on. But then it was later reported after the game that Shams reported that he tore his right Achilles, and we're going to get more into that when I cover them. But it was a great series, in my opinion. All right, in the series outcome, I think this series was decided on turnovers. Every game with the team that had less turnovers won the game, except for game 1. And that was because, like I previously mentioned, OKC didn't score off those turnovers. And game 4, where they both had 16. Both teams had 16 turnovers. The rest of the games, each team with less turnovers won the game. Especially in game 7, where OKC had 32 points off turnovers. So it's pretty much when the defenses showed up that whatever team showed up with their defense was going to pull enough stops and turnovers to win the game. And the OKC defense won that category by causing 120 turnovers versus the Pacers causing 88 in the series. So I was right about the defense, man. Wrong on the team they were defending, though. I knew OKC's defense was going to show up, but I didn't anticipate the Pacers offense being this lethal. Like, yes, I knew they were lead. Yes, I knew that they scored enough points, but it's always on the transition. You see, it's always on fast pace. They never do half court setting, and they did more half court setting this series, but they still really didn't do it as much as they would like to. So it was just the defense, man. The OKC defense pulled up, but credit to the Pacers. OKC though, like as a whole, I thought they should have done better. Like they showed their inexperience and age during the series with how they did not close out when they had opportunities like game 1, game 3, and game 6. Like saying game 1, they should have scored over the turnovers. Game 3, they look rattled, and then game 6, you have a 3-2 advantage. You got to close it out to win 4-2, and they didn't do that. But with their backs against the wall, they came up. Game 2, you got to win this game because you already lost game 1. Game 5, you're down. You don't want to get down 3-1, so you got to hurry up and get some. You're down 2-1. You don't want to be down 3-1. And then obviously game 7, closeout game, they pull up. They showed they are a resilient team by never losing back-to-back games, always bouncing back after a defeat this whole playoffs. I think even in the regular season, but I know for sure the playoffs, they never had a back-to-back losing game. So I got to give them props. I got to give OKC their props, unlike other people around the NBA landscape. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the finals MVP. He averaged 30 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks on 44, 24, and 91% shooting splits. Led the team in scoring with 212 points, assists with 39. He was tied with first in blocks with Chet Holmgren at 11 and was second in steals with 13. Like, okay, obviously the scoring and the assists, right? But bro, a 6'6 guy, 6'6 guard was first in blocks, leading his team in blocks with Chet Holmgren. With Chet, who's like 7 feet tall, and they both had 11. Like, just think about that, brother. Think about that. When I seen that, I was like, damn, bro, where'd he get all these blocks from? Like, I mean, I seen him like he was blocking people, but I was like, I didn't know he had 11. So I was just like, okay, showing up defensively, man. This is just helps his case. And then with the steals, second in steals with 13, crazy. And then to add on top of that, he had a 10 assist and 12 assist game while being the main scorer. Clearly, it was the Finals MVP. Like when Adam Silver announced that he was the Finals MVP, and they panned the camera to him, it looks like he said like, really? I think that's what he said. I don't know what he actually said, but it looked like he was kind of confused that he won it. And I was like, there's no way that you're confused right now. Like, brother, clearly you're the Finals MVP. I don't know if you expect anyone else on your team to be the Finals MVP, or he was just trying to be humble. But no, he was clearly the Finals MVP. It wasn't even a debate. Not a debate. And for the haters, yes, he also led in free throw attempts with 70. He did have a lot of calls this game where it's like marginal contact, and it gets called. They give it to him. Yeah, but for at this point, bro, that's just how they're gonna call it. Like Harden, like all these guys, he's a superstar. They're just gonna give him the call. That's how it's gonna be. They're just gonna give him the call. He wasn't efficient at all this series, but he totally made up for it in being a facilitator and his free throws, being aggressive. He always kept shooting, always being aggressive, like I said, always being a threat. So Indiana always had to watch out for him. And that left guys open. They were just keeping an eye on Shai, trying to trap him or just trying to be close in his vicinity. And that always left other guys open so they could get open shots. Now, he's the only player to have an MVP, regular season MVP, a conference finals MVP, and a finals MVP with a scoring title in the history of the NBA, as a conference finals MVP is new. So no other player has it except for, like it's relatively too new. I think it's only 2 years old now. So it's like not that old, but he's the 4th player to win all except obviously the conference one in one season in the history of the NBA, alongside MJ, Shaq, and Kareem. So I mean, that's elite company. I think for sure this makes him and Jokic the best 2 players in the world at the moment. They're definitely top 2 best players in the world. I would still go with Jokic, but SGA is in the debate. And if you want to make him 1A, especially with all that he's won this season and that he beat him in the second round in the playoffs in the 7-game series, go ahead. I ain't gonna hold you to it. But just me, I'd still have Jokic. The hate is getting insufferable though at times because yes, he gets calls. But that doesn't diminish his ability, bro. The separation he gets, the mid-range, automatic. So it's just annoying at this point. Like, bro, just because he gets calls doesn't mean like he can't get to his spots. Like, it's just part of the game. And I don't know, man. They be hating on my homie, bro. They be hating on Shea. I actually liked him more during these playoffs, to be honest. But, people just like different things. I love the mid-range game. Personally, if y'all know, but like that's my favorite part of basketball, and it was kind of a dying breed, but now he's bringing it back. So insane, bro. That's why Kawhi's my favorite player. So it's just I think it's great, but whatever. For people who don't like it, man, that's up to y'all. And now let's get on one of his teammates, Jalen Williams, J-Dub, second best player in the series for OKC. He had 24 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists in the series on 43, 27, 81% shooting splits, obviously highlighted by his 40-point game in Game 5. Like I previously said, great second option, lethal left-hand finish, can score from anywhere, defends at a high level. Sometimes he would bring the ball up and the offense would go through him as, to give SGA a rest, and he would do wonders for the team. Sam Presti found a gem from the 12th spot when he was the 12th pick in the 2022 draft, so he found a gem. For the rest of the players of OKC, Chet Holmgren, Chet was inconsistent this series, and when he played well, they won, but when he was struggling, boy was he struggling, bro. Like no shots, rebounds, nothing. Lord have mercy when this guy was struggling, bro. It was like when he struggled, it would just go all downhill for him. Like he couldn't get anything done. Like it was just like when he struggled, and it was just pretty I don't know. It was frustrating watching him do that. But I've said he was going to be the X factor for me this series for these reasons. When he averaged 12 points, 9 rebounds, 2 blocks, and then he led in blocks, obviously, like I was saying. That helped them win and lose at times when he was just struggling. Caruso, Dort, Wiggins, Wallace, all 3 and D guys, all contributed, especially Caruso and Dort with their big Game 2 games, and both were in double digits for the whole series as Caruso had 17 that led the team, and then Dort had 11 respectively. Mike Daigneault, the coach, he started off the series by putting in Cason Wallace in place for Hartenstein in the starting lineup, and I personally thought it was a good idea. I actually thought it was good. I was like, oh yeah, this is to keep up with the Pacers' pace, but it didn't really go well. Pacers thought they had the advantage of that with no stand-up big. They're just Chet. Chet's like a what's it called? He's more of a stretch big is what I was trying to say. He's more like of a stretch big. So Pacers thought they had the advantage on that. But he eventually put Hartenstein back in the starting 5, and OKC looked more comfortable. He was getting out coached for a bit by Carlisle, but his adjustment then, to add it on, putting Jalen at the point to help out SGA with the load when they were trapping him to get back in it. So he made the adjustments what he needed to do, and Daigneault and OKC Thunder are the champs. For the Pacers, right? I underestimated them personally. I underestimated the Pacers. I really thought they couldn't create a half-court, or efficient half-court offense. But with their ball movement, they could find open corner threes, which was especially I said the corner threes, which was OKC's Achilles heel. And then with TJ McConnell facilitating, that also helped them to move the ball in the half-court offense. Their defense was also impressive, keeping the Thunder to 35% from 3, and they were doing a good job majority of the time keeping them away from the free throw line. But I really thought OKC were going to match or even one up the pace of the Pacers the whole time. But sometimes they couldn't, and then sometimes they could, and they had the deep dive to do it. And then when they did it, they had a deep dive to do it, or they had to counter it. So much respect to the Pacers, man. I underestimated y'all. Halliburton. Let's get into Halliburton, bro. Obviously, like I said, updated. Shams reported that he tore his Achilles, and he will be out 10 to 12 weeks. My bad. 10 to 12 a week. Not weeks. People wish it was weeks. But now he'll be out 10 to 12 months which could be all of next season or a long portion of it. So, obviously devastating. Devastating, bro. When I seen him go down the first quarter, I was like, no, bro. I was like, that shot in sharp clip, bro. Let me play that for y'all real quick. I was like that.
No! Oh, stop it! No! You have...
I was like that. I was like, bro, there's no... I was like, bro. Oh, my God. I was like, damn, bro. I was so upset, like, as a basketball fan, just in general. Like, damn, like, bro. Tyrese was aggressive the first quarter. He was cooking. He had 9 points. He was 3 out of 4 from the 3 in 7 minutes. I was like, this is going to the last portion of the game. This is going down the wire. It's going to be a great game. It's going to go back and forth, and boom, he tears his Achilles. And I was just like, the moment is ruined. This injury took away from what could have been a battle, what could have been the greatest Game 7 possibly ever. I mean, it's always 2016 is still up there, but who could have rivaled it? It was going to be a great battle between great players, but I guess not, Achilles. I guess not. Oh man, I was mad, bro. I was just upset. I was upset. Everybody watching in the arena and the teams were like, they were just disappointed. Even OKC was disappointed. Like, cause I'm telling y'all, bro, it took from the moment. And it was just like, oh my God, bro. And everyone was just disappointed. His teammates and the coach, they were distraught. I mean, Rick Carlisle, they were distraught. Take a listen to what they had to say. I think what 3 of them had to say.
What happened with Tyrese is just all of our hearts dropped, but he will be back. I don't have any medical information about what may or may not have happened, but he'll be back in time, and I believe he'll make a full recovery. So he authored one of the great individual playoff runs in the history of the NBA. With dramatic play after dramatic play. It was just something that no one's ever seen. And did it as one of 17. That's the beautiful thing about him. As great a player as he is, it's always a team thing. And so our hearts go out to him. But so proud of everyone, and
it was a tough feeling to see your franchise guy go down like that. But to have to move on and kind of compartmentalize it is tough. I thought we were fine. We I don't even remember the score going into halftime, but we were up 1. So. I thought we did a good job of kind of compartmentalizing it. Obviously, we missed him, but we all are devastated for him, and obviously support him.
At that point,
yeah, it was tough. Well, obviously, just off the bat, just wishing him well. It was just hope for the best. But I'm just. I'm proud of that kid, he went through so much during the year. A lot of criticism. It's just it's a lot, for a young kid to go through, and he had a lot of stress, a lot of and he just kept battling, man. Like he kept fighting every single day. He kept just working, and he did some incredible things like this whole playoff run and this year, and I'm just super proud of him. Obviously, it hurts because we couldn't get it done, and I wanted it so bad for him, and just because I know that he gave us everything, everything he had, and it just hurts that he he couldn't see it through with us, but just incredibly proud of him. And everything he's accomplished, and I know there's more coming, and Yeah, it's just a tough situation, but we all behind him. I mean, he was in the locker room, like talking to everyone, and just how selfless he is, like he's going through some tough times, and he looked out for us and he wanted to be there for us, and it just shows his character and who he is as a player, and it's one of the big reasons I'm here, and he made it kind of super fun for me to be here.
So obviously, yeah, they're devastated. They are devastated. But I respect though that Tyrese wanted to play. Obviously, it's Game 7 of the NBA Finals, so who doesn't want to play? And if he didn't play, bro, like it would be all over. Everyone would be like, he's not tough. Or how do you not want to play in Game 7? You let down your teammates, you let down your team, you let down the fan base, you let down everybody. So it's like, bro, he had to play. And obviously, you're going to play because it's Game 7 of the finals. He would get so much criticism if he didn't play. So I don't even blame him. You got to play. You got to play. So it was just unfortunate that this happened. Hope he recovers soon. And good luck, buddy. Good luck coming back. Staying on his injury, this is the 8th Achilles tear this year in the NBA and the 3rd in the playoffs. The 3rd in the playoffs has been him, Dame, and Tatum. People are debating, why is this a trend? Why is this happening? I like the theory of basketball now. Like people are bringing out the theory that basketball is being an all-around sport now. Like actually every sport is. Every like athlete trying to take a sport seriously, they just play their sport and they never play anything else. Where so like the players can't play other sports and they just focus on that one, making it difficult for your body to experience different body motions that it has to go when playing other sports or doing other activities. And right now for basketball, that's AAU basketball. All they do is play a bunch of games with no practice all week, and the pace of the game is faster, so it's more of a toll on the players. And bro, like it makes sense. It makes sense because all they do is we just play. There's no fundamentals, there's no practice, and then the pace of the game, speed of the game is faster in AAU, but it's also faster in college and it's faster in the NBA. So it's just the athlete, it demands more from the player, from the athlete, and it takes a toll on them more. So I think these two reasons are reasonable. And let's see if the NBA does more investigating to see what the trend is or how can they combat that. We'll see, but I think those two are actually the best ones to describe it because everyone's just tearing their stuff more frequently. So and they play less games because we've got to rest. We have to manage the load. We're load managing. So it's weird. It's weird. Let's see what they do. See what the NBA does. But that is. But going back to the series, Hallie averaged 14 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists on 46, 36, and 100% shooting splits. I would argue he was the 3rd best player for the Pacers this series, and I have said this before. He is the offense. All right. Everything goes through him, so he's obviously the most valuable player for them. But this series, he was okay. In Game 5 with the injury, he was horrid. He did not play well at all. And yes, because it was an injury, but he continued playing. And in Game 6, he looked better. So he just did not have a good Game 5. And then obviously Game 7. So because he got injured, right? So if the Pacers would have won, he would have not received this award. He would have not received it. So he didn't play great. I wouldn't say he played awful, but he was okay, and I don't think he would have won the award. This guy, however, Spicy P, Pascal Siakam, probably would have got it as he led the Pacers in points with 135. He averaged 19 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals on 45%, 36 and 79% shooting splits. Pascal was leading the Pacers most of the time and contributed more in the series, in my opinion. TJ McConnell, even TJ, you could say as well, he was playing better than Hallie. He was a spark plug coming off the bench. He was unguardable at times when he would get into the paint, which is for a 5'10" guy. How does that happen? But he averaged 12 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals on 55, 60, and 78% shooting splits. He set their half-court offense, like I was saying, with his distribution. And when everyone was covered, he would attack the rim. He'd post up. He'd have crafty moves and get the fadeaway jumper or a layup. Like a 5'10" guy is doing this. How is this possible? And then he had 15. He led the team with 15 steals and he had 30 assists, which was second on the team. So he had a legit shot, a legit argument for getting Finals MVP if the Pacers won. Just bro, don't get me wrong, right? Obviously, Tyrese is the better player, he's more valuable. Okay, as we see, TJ coming off the bench can do wonders. But as we saw in Game 7 with his extended minutes, teams can figure him out. They take advantage of his height, his lack of three-point shot, as OKC did in Game 7. But in this series, when he gave his 15 minutes and dipped, masterclass value. Masterclass. So I would have said he could have had a legit shot getting it too. Him and Pascal, but we know what happened. But rest of the team, okay, I think Nembhard was doing an absolute great job on guarding SGA. He was making it really difficult to him to get to his spots. But SGA being SGA, he figured him out. I want to say figured him out, but he just figured out how to. SGA just figured out how to put his imprint on the game, even with Nembhard being right there in his face, being a pest. So shout out Nembhard. Shout out Nembhard. Benedict Mathurin. He had a 27-point game in Game 3. Obi was flying around. Turner, Neesmith, Shepard all had a part in getting this far. So actually not a bit, unlucky of how the whole thing ended. Rick Carlisle, coach, I think he had a marvelous coaching performance, staying with his initial lineup, making adjustments on the fly. He was trapping SGA more at times, hitting more corner threes, limiting their free throws, staying with their identity, and basically manipulating Dagnall to switch his lineup for a bit. So, yeah, it sucks for him. I think he had a great masterclass coaching performance. And, hey, man, it just goes down because of an injury. But we don't know. We'll see, man. We'll see how history looks on this game. But overall, I think it was a great finals, bro. Like, it beat everyone's expectation that said it was going to be boring, it was going to be monotonous. The ratings were still kind of down for the whole series except for Game 7. And I think there was like I remember Shannon said this on Nightcap, saying that Love Island had more views than some of the games. And I'm just like, bro, that's disappointing, bro. Like, people really won't watch these games unless it's LA, unless it's the Lakers, unless it's New York, unless it's Boston. Like, bro, like, this series gave us a multitude of things, and you still don't want to watch because it's OKC and Indiana, small market teams. Like, bro, like, you're fake basketball fans at this point, bro. You're just you're even worse than casuals. Like, it's their opinion. I get it, I suppose, but I just enjoyed. Okay, I just wish these people enjoyed the actual basketball going on. If Tyrese stayed healthy to see the full outcome, some people already downplaying it, saying it's a Mickey Mouse ring because he got injured. Like, bro, like, the hate don't stop, brother. Like, yeah, I don't know what's going on. It just doesn't stop. People, I don't know, bro. Like, they're generational haters and trolls, and some people just like to be haters, bro. Shout out my boy Juan, bro. They just like to be haters because it's fun for them, right? But the people who actually take this seriously, like, and they just really hate him, like, bruh, like, come on, bro. Like, I don't know, man. Just enjoy the basketball. But they just don't. It's always trying to put an asterisk or, like, I don't know what they're doing, to be honest. They're just always trying to do something, but I like the finals. I enjoyed watching them, and I'll always watch basketball because I love basketball. That's the main thing. But let's get on to the trades, right? Now, for the finals, let's get on to the trades. The trades that shocked the Sunday morning of Game 7 as Kevin Durant was traded to the Houston Rockets. Suns traded KD to the Rockets in exchange for Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, 10th and the 10th pick of the 2025 draft, and 5 second-round picks. Straight off of bat, my opinion is Rockets won this trade. Now, I've never been a fan of Jalen Green, especially this playoffs after he averaged 13 points in the series versus Golden State. He only had one good game, and that was Game 2 where he had 38 points. The rest of them were single digits, or it was like 11 and 12. So yeah, he pretty much just disappeared that series. And I know he's 23 years old, like, so he's very young, but I don't know, man. He doesn't show me superstar status. Like, he just remember, superstar status, you show up in the playoffs and you give everything. Like, okay, maybe, yeah, Rockets, and That's what's even worse, because I was gonna say, okay, maybe if the Rockets aren't as good as the Warriors, but he was still scoring out there, so he was still giving him a chance. I thought the Rockets were probably gonna actually better than the Warriors for a bit, and maybe they could have done it like without Jimmy. With Jimmy, obviously the Warriors were a better team, but if he could have just given me something like more than this, if he's averaged 25 or something, it's like, okay, we see it. Maybe he just needs to develop more. He gave us nothing, so I'm like, he just hasn't convinced me. It just has not convinced me. And like, bro, to trade him basically for KD, like, yes, bro, Kevin Durant, like, yes, Kevin Durant is 36. Most people are arguing that they lost the trade because he's old. Like, yes, he's 36, but he's coming off his best statistical seasons. And who says he can't make it to 40? Who says he can't make it? Like Braun. So let's say if he makes it to 40, he has 4 solid years left with this squad, with this Houston squad that's ready to win now. They won the trade, bro. They kept Sengun. They kept Amin Thompson. They have Jabari Smith. You got the defense. You got the great second options. Like, this is a great move. They only gave up, like, the picks. It doesn't even matter, bro. Picks, what is, you want the players. You only gave up Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks. Like, you basically traded Jalen Green for a better Jalen Green, like a 10 times better Jalen Green and Kevin Durant. And then Dylan Brooks, don't get me wrong, he's not a bad player, right? And he's a defensive pest, so that probably he would have been good on the Rockets. But to get Kevin Durant, like, bro, I don't even know how people are making the argument that the Suns won this, bro. So it's clearly the Rockets. Maybe if you're a fan of Jalen Green, you're not going to see it like that. But since I'm not a fan, I see it as an absolute win. Now, the only thing that I don't really like, and KD is one of my favorite players of all time, but I always criticize him on this, is that he is not a leader. He's just not. Someone has to step up, and I think it can be Van Vliet. He has that championship pedigree. He won a championship in 2019, so it could probably be him, but we will see. And let's hear what KD's immediate reaction was to this trade on Sunday when he was at Fanatics Fest with Kay Adams. Here it is.
Anything new? Anything you want to tell me?
Everything's been pretty solid, pretty much the same the last couple weeks.
Can I introduce you for the first time ever, maybe, as Houston Rocket Kevin Durant?
That would be very fitting right now, yeah.
What does that feel like? It happened moments ago here at Fanatics Fest. What is going on?
Fanatics Fest is crazy. If you haven't been here and been tapped in, anything can happen at Fanatics Fest, like me getting traded. But being a part of the Houston Rockets, I'm looking forward to it. Crazy last couple weeks, but I'm glad it's over with.
Kevin, I watched you. You didn't find out then. You knew before, right?
I had an idea, but I didn't know exactly when it was going to happen. So I'm glad we kind of did this on stage. It worked out. Fanatics Fest deserved to have that moment.
It was unbelievable. And then I watched it, and honestly, every tooth is showing. You were smiling. What did that feel like? How do you feel? How happy are you?
When people could just hang your career in a balance like that and just choose what they want to do with your career is a nerve-wracking feeling, but being able to dictate what you want to do and then being with a team that values you, and I'm looking forward to it.
Kevin, people are going to hold on to that dictate what you want to do. Did you have a hand in this?
Most definitely, yeah. They asked me where I wanted to go, some of my destinations, I gave it to them, and here we are.
Can you tell me what, I'm going to follow you wherever you go. I'm going to be your biggest fan. I want to know why Houston. Obviously, close to Austin, you've got, Amen's there, Jeff Green's there, you played with him. Why Houston?
He just had a great season last year, love their leadership. I felt like I'd be a good addition.
Are we recruiting Russell Westbrook? We're going to bring all the
okay. After that, we just got one thing figured out today. We'll figure the rest out as we go, It's still early.
You seem very happy.
I am.
Why are you turning from the camera?
Oh, yeah, my bad.
I'm not just talking to you. What is that?
One of the things that stands out is that he said he dictated the trade to a certain extent, and they told him they wanted him to trade him, and he said, okay, well, this is the teams I want to go to. So that's cool that they chose. They did trade him to one of the destinations he wanted, which, Houston was like one of the only 3 teams to have actual draft capital and like just the enough assets to actually trade him. But it stood out to me that he said he wanted to go to the Rockets because of their leadership, which, remember, I just pointed out, he's not a leader, nor does he want to be, clearly. So it looks like it's going to work out. I think this is going to be different from the Suns because, everyone brought out, everyone said they were going to be a championship contender when he got traded to the Suns. Yes, they did say that, but I did not. I was not saying, they're championship contender, because I always pointed out that they had 3 natural scorers in KD, Book, and Beal. So it was going to be hard for them to figure out how is this going to work. We have 3 scorers. Who's going to be the point guard? When is my turn to take the shot? Like, it was just going to be a mess. And obviously, it turned out as a mess. Here, what are we going to see, bro? We know who's going to take shots, and everybody else is going to follow the Slim Reaper. So we'll see what the Rockets do in the West. And for the Suns, I think they will do more trades. There's rumors that they want to trade Jalen Green, which, that makes sense to me. Like, why would you have Jalen Green and Devin Booker on the same team? Like, again, it's like another repeat thing of what they just did. But I think they wanted Jalen Green because they know other teams will want him. So don't unpack your stuff, homie. You'll probably get traded again, and we'll see what's going on. There was another trade that happened, I think, Monday? I think it was like a day after, where the Celtics traded Drew Holiday to the Blazers in exchange for Anthony Simmons and 2 second-round picks, as Shams reported. Off the bat, Celtics, they get a good young player, and they get the aging Drew off. I love Drew Holiday, no offense, but they get him off the Bucks. I think they get out from the second apron, or they cut stuff off from the second apron in the NBA. They were over $22 million. This could save them $200 million in the salary cap. So who else are they going to offload, huh? Jaylen Brown? Porzingis? Well, guess what? Few minutes ago, Shams Charania, by the way, okay, NBA Insider. Shout out Shams. I got all my information from that guy. He reported that Boston, Atlanta, Brooklyn are finalizing a 3-team trade that sends Kristaps Porzingis and a second-round pick to the Hawks, Terrence Mann, and Atlanta's number 22 pick to the Nets, and Georges Niang and a second-rounder to the Celtics. So this clearly gets the Celtics now out of the salary cap's second apron. So Celtics are back. They don't gotta overtax people now. They don't gotta pay their extra rate tax. And they get to keep Jaylen Brown now. So I see the Celtics keep moving on, but masterful moves by Boston. I ain't gonna lie, masterful moves now with I think they're probably gonna take this 1 year to get a little bit better. I don't think they're going to be as trash as people are saying they're going to be. Like, we don't know what's going to happen. Like, bro, Jaylen Brown is still a good player, bro. And the East is okay. So they'll probably they'll be in the top 8, bro. They'll definitely will be above the play-in. So I don't know what people are talking about. They'll probably be 4th, 5th. I don't know. They'll definitely will be up there in the East. So we'll see what the Celtics do. There was another trade as the Pelicans traded CJ McCollum, Kelly Olynyk, a second-round pick to the Wizards for Jordan Poole, Sadiq Bey, and the 40th pick. That one just came out of nowhere. I like how people are saying, like, and other breaking news, I took a dump. Like, saying, like, no one cares about this trade, which, it's kind of true, bro. Like, it doesn't really shape up the NBA, but, it's some news. But I like how people are saying they really sent CJ McCollum to hell on the Wizards, and I'm like, oh my god, for real, bro. Those Wizards, man, they don't. That sucks for him. But just a bunch of trades this year. But that's the end of the episode. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Hope y'all liked my analysis, bro. I hope y'all noticed something. But keep a lookout for more episodes, more tournaments coming. The Copa Mundial, the club's coming, more stuff to do, and check out my YouTube channel. Check out all streaming services. Check out my Instagram, analyzing. Check out my TikTok, @Kompalan. And we'll see y'all in the next one. See ya.